Hi, ich wollte nur mal kurz sagen, dieser Podcast hat jetzt auch einen Newsletter, damit du keine Folge mal so aus Versehen verpasst und damit du mitbekommst, wenn es eine Aktion oder ein Special rund um weg bouldern gibt. Den Newsletter, den findest du auf meiner Steady-Seite, das ist steadyhq.com/weg bouldern und natürlich auch auf wegbouldern.de. Das war's, viel Spaß mit dieser Folge.
When it's too easy or too hard, it's so obvious. And we know, yes, this is too easy. We should turn this hold a bit more. It's obvious, but 1 hour before, it's not that clear. And there are really small details. The line where it goes on one or other side, it's very, very thin.
Hi and welcome to episode 129 of weg bouldern. My name is Juliane Fritz and my guest is Katja Vidmar. She comes from Slovenia. She's a former competition athlete. Today she creates climbing holds for the brand 360 Holds. She's a routesetter and the first woman that had an IFSC routesetting license. So there are so many topics to talk about. Also, she just became a mother and I wanted to know how that affected her work as a setter and her climbing. I met Katja at the Hold Together event in the Boulder Lounge in Chemnitz, a meeting where gym owners, route setters and hold companies met to talk about topics of the climbing gym industry. And as there was so much talking going on in 2 days, I am very happy that Katja still took the time to do the interview. Have fun listening. There's a crowdfunding for this podcast on the Plattform Steady. There you can support my work if you like to. The link is in the show notes of this episode, or you just go to steadyhq.com and search for weg bouldern. Thank you to all the people that support me there. This helps a lot. Hello, Katja.
Hello.
Thank you for taking the time here at the Hold Together event to talk. I'm really interested in your perspective on all the things concerning your career. You are from Slovenia. You are a former IFSC competition athlete. You are now a route setter and you work for a climbing hold brand for 360 Holds. So there's a lot of things, interesting things to talk about. And yeah, I'm excited. And at first, maybe you can give us some background. I once heard that in Slovenia, that climbing sometimes is part of the school sports, so that a lot of people get into climbing, for example, through school, and that this is also a reason why the whole climbing thing is big in Slovenia. So was this the way you got into climbing, or was it something else? And can you tell us about it?
I started climbing in 97, long time ago. It was a sport that I knew it from my childhood, so it was in the family. My father was climbing, and then my sister and I got into climbing. I think I was 13 and she was like 12 or 11, and we just got to a local club that was quite famous and strong in the country, and we started
climbing club.
Yeah, like a climbing club, like with a small spray wall and a sport climbing lead wall for lead comps. And when we started, we were just immediately hooked. Before there was this sport, that sport, other sport, just running around all the time. Started climbing. Nothing else existed anymore for us. Our first coach was actually Roman Krajnik, who is now coach of Janja Garnbret. So we kind of grew together, and me and my sister had especially her, some success in competitions, and he was our coach, and now he's still maybe the best coach in the world, or for sure the most successful. So it's kind of a cool story, and we still work together.
You with him, you work together?
Yeah, we cooperate. We as 360, we support his athletes, and we give them opportunity to train at our headquarters and so on. So we still kind of work together. And in the past, I was coaching a Slovenia climbing team with him. It's a long story, and many things happen in between. So later, I started as a sport climber, and later I switched to bouldering and kind of never came back to sport climbing.
Can you explain why?
I don't know, just got hooked on this on this bouldering thing, and maybe now I'm going back to sport climbing a little bit more. But yeah, I was mainly competing in bouldering comps, and when I stopped, I just wanted to climb outside more. And in the meantime, I got into route setting and coaching, and later only route setting and so on. So it was kind of, I never had a really big plan of where I'm going, but I just went with the flow, and somehow I'm here now.
And can you describe your development as a climber? So was it at first something you did for fun, and then you discovered, okay, there's the possibility to do competitions? And then why was it interesting for you to do competitions? So how did you develop in the sport?
If I remember right, I just really liked climbing, but I was also very motivated to do well on competitions. We immediately start kind of serious training, and I don't know, we did crazy sessions like all summer holidays when everyone went with their parents to seaside and stuff. We were just training, never stop. And we kind of just caught up with the best ones in the country really fast. And yeah, I don't know, I was really motivated. I had this drive that I want to do well in comps and try to be a good climber, and that's how it happened. But yeah, I also really, really loved it. I think if I didn't have this love for climbing, I would stop before, because it was like hard times with hard training and so on. The comps didn't go as well as I wanted to, and so on and so on. So I stayed because I just love climbing so much.
Yeah. And you said that you saw other people in your country doing well in competitions. So what was the scene like? Who were the people that you were looking up to when you started being like in competitions?
At first was Martina Čufar. When I started, she was top of the world. So after a few years, we were able to go to train with her and have a national training with her. And I don't know, you just, when you have opportunity to do something like this, and you see that maybe you don't beat her, but you can climb on the same route, it gives you a big boost of motivation, and you see the possibility that you can do something. And I think it's from Martina on, it was always someone who kids could look up to, especially in girls' team. There was then my sister Maya and Natalia Gross, and then Mina Markovic, and now it's Janja. So there was always someone like on very, very top that the others could follow or try to come close, let's say. And I think that's part of the thing why the team is so good throughout all the years.
Where did this all start in Slovenia? I mean, that the climbing became such a big thing, that there are so many successful climbers there.
I think there's not a simple answer to that, but in general, Slovenia has many really successful athletes in many individual sports. Here and there you can find world champions in this and that. And even though we are so small, sport is quite professionalized, or people are willing to work really hard for it. They train really hard for it. They don't expect just to have fun, but work really hard for something. I guess it's maybe also in our genes or something that some individuals have. And for climbing, there was a big tradition of alpinism before, like in 80s, 90s, and so on. Each town had a local club with maybe a small spray wall and so on. And slowly sport climbing developed from that. And yeah, people were just training hard on these small spray walls all around. And here we are.
Yeah. I had just been watching a video where they showed the old gym where Janja used to train when she was younger, which is also, it looks nothing like the Boulder Lounge where we are at right now, but it's more like a private wall that someone built in his house, more spray wall character. And you would not expect this to be a place where like a world elite trains. But would you say that also these circumstances lead to something like to success? It's maybe another way to train possible there?
Yeah, I just think that if you have everything on your plate, doesn't mean that's a recipe for success. And maybe some people who don't have the best conditions on the beginning build some kind of character and are more like tough and pursue their thing. If they are super driven, they can do many things, even on a small spray wall, let's say. And if these walls, even if they are not very big, if they are set well, it's actually better for training than a gym like this one here. You can do many things.
Yeah. Do you remember the first gym where you trained? What did that look like?
It was very dusty.
Okay.
Not many jugs. And it was possible to train hard stuff there. We had an opportunity to do that, and we had a coach, and we were very motivated, and that's it. Don't need much at the end.
Yeah, that's fascinating. And when you work together with the younger athletes today, is there something that you try to give them from your experience as an athlete?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's many things, but I wish I was also smarter when I was younger. I was very, very stubborn. In general, I would say just work hard and don't look for excuses elsewhere. Find it in yourself. And when you're out of your comfort zone, you try to somehow enjoy it when you're working on your weaknesses, and don't be too stubborn in doing it your way because you know everything and things like that. And try to learn from others. Don't always see them as your competition.
Yeah. You are a routesetter today. And can you tell us, when did that start? Like, first time setting, why did you want to try it?
I kind of started setting when I was coaching kids in a local club, and then we reset a spray wall, or I set something for them on the lead wall and so on. So it was like a tool for coaching. So I did not start in a commercial gym, but more from this way, from coaching. It was like an extension for me. And I realized that I feel really good in this role, and it kind of fits me better than coaching, because maybe I'm not very good at watching other people climb, because I want to climb as well. And later I joined the Slovenia climbing team as I tried to help with bouldering part a little bit, and I started setting more for them. So kind of very quickly I set for the best in the world, just to set trainings and so on. I started with a group of guys who were already very experienced setters, IFSC setters, like Simon Margon and Alyosha Grom. And they just took me with them, and we worked together, and I learned really fast. And later I got opportunity to set something internationally and so on, and later a World Cup and so on and so on. So yeah, that's my background from route setting.
Yeah. Would you say that you have an idea or a philosophy in route setting? Some rules that you like to follow?
I don't like rules. Yeah, for me, route setting is just a way to express myself. It's very challenging for me, and I like challenges. And when I'm setting, like it can be World Cup competition or whatever, and I work with other people, I always feel like after this experience that I grow as a person. So it asks of you to be the best version of yourself, because you need to be, as I feel, I need to give 100% or more. And maybe 100 is enough, but sometimes I want to give more. I really like it, and it's hard, but at the same time very satisfying in some way, and just, yeah, I don't know, complicated.
Yeah, I guess it's hard also because you have to work so much on yourself, you train so much to like keep up on a certain level and to always find new creative ideas. I mean, there's so many things you have to work on.
I would not say it's the biggest challenges in this, but more on personal characteristics.
Okay.
Like how you work in a team, how you react under pressure, what kind of decisions you make, how you pull it off when you are so tired and you still keep going, and things like this. And things like this just give me confidence in life that I can do anything. It's just a big challenge, and I really like this.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. And as a former athlete, you know the struggles of these athletes, also maybe what goes on in their minds while the competition. Do you have that in mind when you do route setting for a competition?
I do. I always try to imagine what climber needs to do when they have 4 or 5 minutes and they come on the mats and this is in front of them, something they see for the first time. So for me, yeah, it's easy to get into this role as I was an athlete, and I imagine myself, what if I came on the mats and see this and I need to perform? So maybe some things that are easy to do when there's no audience, no clock behind you saying, oh, 1 minute left and so on. It's an easy climb actually, but in this situation, it's really hard to climb it. So I try to understand this and the mindset when you are full of adrenaline and you just want to kill the boulder and there's a slab and you just need to calm down and climb it, and that's not so easy to do. So sometimes I think, oh, it's an easy slab, it's not so hard, but it's actually really hard to climb this in competition. So yeah, I try to imagine this.
Yeah. That's something I think a lot of people don't understand about competition route setting when they think, okay, this might be the hardest boulders ever in the competition. And then we often hear from route setters, no, they are not. It's just hard to climb them in 4 or 5 minutes. What would you say? What are other things that you sometimes wish the audience to understand?
Oof. Oh, it's really hard to understand actually all that is going on, or some things are just maybe lost when you only see it on the screen. Also, like when it's too easy or too hard, it's so obvious. And we know, yes, this is too easy. We should turn this hold a bit more. It's obvious, but 1 hour before, it's not that clear. And there are really, really small details, really small. The line where it goes on one or other side, it's very, very thin. It's like just small adjustment that make all the difference. And you need to somehow feel it. And
like to guess, what will they make of it? And
yeah, I don't want to say guess because we should know, but actually it's just at the end, it's feeling what you're left and like discussing with the team and so on. And you just need to make one decision, and it's a small decision, but 1 hour later, it looks like a big one. This is really hard to understand if you are not on the other side, but it's just how it is. And it's also why route setting is so addictive. Like this, I don't know, and you never will know actually. It's what makes it so exciting.
Yeah. What I felt like the last time I heard someone talking about it, that maybe it should be understood more as a process of like constant learning process, because like the athletes, they develop, hold shapes develop, route setting develops. So it's always something's changing.
And I think everyone wants a super exciting comp.
Yeah.
And a nice ranking and everything. So perfect comp. Of course, this is also the goal for route setters, but I think the audience or whoever don't understand that they wish for two things that don't go together necessarily. Because if you want this to be exciting, to have like super exciting comp, you must take risk. And if you do that, it can go either way. It can be the shittiest comp ever or the best comp ever. We are on the line, on the very thin line. And if we want to play it safe, we're going to have a nice ranking. It will be a nice comp, but nothing super special. And so again, people will complain. So where do you want to go? I prefer to be something in between, not to go into one or other extreme, but I really respect route setters who take this risk and push the sport forward and take some hard times and have a thick skin because of it, but just they know why they do it. They believe in something and they push the sport forward. And I think it's important. And if we have everyone just on the safe side playing it, let's just have a nice comp, a nice ranking at the end. It's boring, but it's hard to understand this if you're not in the process, I would say.
And how do you react to the critic that people say the boulders have gone like too dangerous now? Like there are moves that might lead to injuries or something. What would you say?
My comment on this. I think for an athlete who is well prepared, it's not too dangerous. The routesetters try the boulders, try all the moves, and if they feel it's dangerous, they change something. The problem is maybe sometimes the athletes don't do the right beta, but they go for it 100% because it's comp and you don't care. You have no fear. You just go. So this is maybe when the injury happens, when they choose to do the wrong sequence, and it can be a bit tricky or dangerous. But on the other side, I think too many times everyone is just blaming routesetters for everything, like, another shoulder move. But maybe they need to do some shoulder exercises. There's also some responsibility on the other side. And I don't know, some other sports are dangerous as well. And I don't want to see injuries, but it's if they want, again, an exciting competition, there's going to be some moves that are not 100% safe.
Is it like that athletes are surprised at a competition with a move they never did before and never had the possibility to train the shoulder in the right way because they've never done that before? Or would you say that you as routesetters always work in a way that you would say, okay, they had the possibility to prepare for this?
I mean, it's about the whole body preparation.
Yeah.
I'm sure they should be better prepared than we are. So in this case, I think it's just a problem when you're on comp and you don't care, you have no fear, you go just over 100%, and maybe you push in the wrong way, or you would let go before because you feel something is not right or something. But in comp, you just go 100%, you don't think about consequences so much. Yeah, I think it's the preparation, and you need to just be able to train on as different moves as possible. And I'm not like apologizing for routesetters now, but I really think it's also other things to be done here, not just the routesetters to tone down everything because there might be some issue with finger or shoulder. But like I said, when we work and we feel that something is on limit, we change. We always think about safety too. And the landing zone and the fall, is it too much like this or like that?
Yeah. There had been an event that you were also a part of where you trained with Janja and Yoshiyuki. I read about that you tried to set boulders that are like at the limit maybe of these top athletes, also to try a little bit how far can we go? So like how strong are they? What can we set for them? Can you talk a little bit about this meeting and what you learned there?
It was very interesting, and I think it was a good way to bring the routesetters and climbers a bit together, because I remember a few years back it seemed like we are on different sides, like routesetters against athletes, but it's actually the opposite. We work for athletes. We want to give them challenge and opportunity to show how good climbers they are, not to just make them fall. Of course, we need to make them fall, but it's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to find the perfect performance maybe for someone who is the best in the world. And we try to find this limit here. And yeah, this event was super nice, and I got to set with some other really good setters, and each experience like that gives me a lot of motivation and inspiration and so on. And it was just interesting to explore in this way, because normally we don't even have time on comps to really dig into something like this. Just before I was really, it's not so easy to get idea for a new move. But when I start to think, it was really interesting to just to explore this way. And finally we tried something, and some things worked and some things didn't work yet, but maybe it will in the future. And
can you give an example?
I had an idea about this move from some press coordination thing, and it was hard to make it work. And we dig really deep with Gen Hiroshima, who had similar idea and was like, okay, let's work on this together. And it was interesting, and was also interesting to see how strong Yoshiyuki was. From comps, I did not have this idea, and in some style now I see how crazy he is. And for Yanya, I already knew before because I know her quite well, that she's much stronger than she can show on most of comps.
Would you wish that there were more possibilities like that to work together?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I think it's interesting and a way to push the sport forward, just to bring this together, because it's really not route setters against athletes, but for athletes, I would say.
Yeah, but sometimes it's, when you look at it in social media, it seems like that. But
I hate social media.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like that. I agree, but it's really not.
When you set for a competition, is the IFSC or are any coaches giving you guidelines, telling you, okay, you should do this or you should not do this? So are there many things that you are told to do?
I haven't set an IFSC comp for some years now, but so I will not say how it is at this moment. There are obviously some guidelines, but I think that the paper can handle everything, and it's easy to say, set like this or set like that or do this. And I think with more rules and guidelines, we lose many things. So I think it's important to keep the freedom for route setters to do their thing, and just, not put too many limitations, because, I think many things are lost, and then we end up having boring comps. That's my opinion.
Yeah, okay. Do you remember a situation at a competition where a climber climbed a boulder that you set, or where you were part of the setting, and that was intense for you watching the climber? So can you take us into your head while watching the climber at a competition?
I have many memories, of course, from Haji Yoji World Championship, I think 2019. The round was quite hard, of course, in Japan, like always. And then we had one boulder that we knew that was really hard. It was number 2, and I think only Yanya did it. And so the comp was starting to get really slow. Everyone spending 4 minutes on it and so on, except her. I knew that the next one was my boulder, who was supposed to be medium. And all the guys from setting team after this boulder, after number 2, just left because, and have a smoke outside. So I was just there alone, and we're like, where is everyone? And then, they could not do it. I thought start was easy, and they could not figure it out. It was suddenly big drama for me. Oh my God, what's going on here? And then I remember Miho topping it, and I just screamed like if there was silence in the arena. Yeah, I just screamed so loud when she topped it, and it was a good moment. And I was like, where is everyone? We need to celebrate.
Oh my God.
So yeah, moments like these are super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, you also have the bad ones where you're like, oh my God, I want to disappear.
One interesting thing about you and the competition setting is that you were the first woman to have an IFSC route setting license. What did that mean to you?
Not much, to be honest. I didn't even think about it. It was never my goal or intention, or I was not driven by this. I just wanted to set, and I wanted to do it as best as I could. And I ended up doing World Cups. And I just took every opportunity that I got and set. And yeah, I got there. I hope not just because I'm a girl, but also because I could do a good job. And I don't know, somebody had to be first, and of course it's a good thing. But yeah, I'm kind of over this gender thing and female setting and this and that. For me, it's just setting, and I'm just a route setter. But of course, it was kind of important at that time.
Yeah. Do you think that there are enough possibilities for women to get into this?
I think all the doors are open, and I think it's really hard. I know many guys who are so passionate for this and put so much into this, and it's really hard for them because there is so many to get far to finally set for IFSC. And I'm not saying that it's easy for girls, but the doors are more open. So if you're a girl and you have a lot of passion for this, you're willing to work really hard, you are good enough, all the doors are open. So I think it's the opposite at the moment. And I think it's good to think at the moment it's like this, and it's good thing to get more female setters in.
And another thing that's interesting, you're not only a route setter, you also work for a climbing hold brand, the 360 Holds. At first, can you tell us what is your job in the company?
Yeah, I'm co-owner of 360 Holds. I did many things in the beginning. We were small and then we grew. And at the moment, I'm mostly doing shaping, setting, marketing things. Not so much administration and orders that I did in the past as well. So more things that I think I'm good at.
Yeah. In the process of creating a new hold, what's important? What do you have to think of when you say, okay, we want to create something new?
For me, it's very well connected to setting. Setting goes with shaping, shaping goes with setting. While I'm setting, I have idea for shaping. While I'm shaping, I have idea for some moves in setting and so on. And also the process is kind of, I know what I want, I know what I'm doing when I'm shaping, but at the same time, I'm just going with it, and something will happen, I guess, like more intuitive way to do it. So I think it's good combination for me to do both.
What was like a hold shape that you created? The last thing
I shaped was some of the new asymmetric balls with high profile ones that we just came out with. So that was the last few shapes, yeah.
Yeah. And there were holds that there was a controversy about right now. Maybe we have to explain a little bit for someone who doesn't know. So the 360 brand created holds that are dual texture, but you created them in a way that it's not so obvious where is the side with the grip and where is the shiny side. And you really have to look closely at those holds. I mean, they are here in the Boulder Lounge. We can look at them. And I think when you really look at the hold, you see it. So, but there was a controversy about these holds where, for example, athletes said it might be more dangerous to use these holds because you can't really see where to grip, where to step, and you might fall. Some people liked the idea. Some people did not like the idea. The interesting thing is you have all the perspectives. You are the hold maker, you are the route setter, you are a former athlete.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think just in general, people who never actually saw the hold and have them in their hand or climb on it or set on it had a really strong opinion about it. Mm-hmm. Like it's dangerous, it's not fair, and never really tried it. Mm-hmm. So I think that was, I don't know, kind of strange, but it's how social media works. Yeah. Today, everyone can have a strong opinion and be smart just sitting at home on the couch and typing on the phone. But you either like it or you don't like it, and it's okay. We got really good feedback on it from athletes, coaches, route setters, from everyone, not just route setters who want to do evil things for the athletes, but also good feedback from climbers who try them. And I think it's basically just another dual texture hold, but with the pattern that it's on, it makes it a bit harder to realize where something is. And it's just a tool for a style of setting when you want the movement to be more intuitive and the climber needs to search for something and things are not so obvious. The style already exists for a long time, and setters set in this style, but it's not the thing we only want to see on comps. We are not saying this is where it's going or something. It's just a tool for one kind of styles, let's say, that it's really interesting and easy to set with something like this. So I think it was just a big drama about it, and I don't see why. I don't think it's dangerous, but like every hold you can use in a dangerous way. And if you're routesetters, you need to know these things, what you're doing.
Yeah. What I was thinking, like when I was standing in front of the boulder here at the Boulder Lounge, is when you stand in front of the root of the boulder, you see where you can touch the hold and where it's good. And also the first competition where they were used, it was so obvious. Like the boulder was built in a way that it was clear where the grip is on the hold. So, I mean, as you said, you use them in a way where it makes sense.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't see, sometimes there are holds hidden behind the volume and you just need to find it and feel it, or remember, or check where it is and then jump for it. It's the same thing. It's something, another style that you try to test athletes in, and I don't think it's dangerous and unfair or whatever. And with this black and white, I think it's actually more fair for other climbers. For example, first climber don't see chalk or rubber, but the 10th climber already sees it. And here it's a bit hidden with black and white. So I think it makes it more fair for all climbers in this way.
Ah, that's why you chose this black-white coloring. Yeah.
It was a bit of coincidence. We experimented with something and we really like it this way. And when we tried to set with it and climb it, we thought, oh, that's really interesting. And we like it. Some people like it. Some people don't like it. And I think when it's something a bit different, it's always like this. And for me, it's okay. I'm not trying to say to everyone, oh, you need to like this. It's very good. You can choose you like it or not. It's a bit different, and maybe it's better than just having everyone to be indifferent about our holds. So maybe it's okay so like
now
this.
Everyone knows 360 holds.
Yeah, in a good or bad way. But I think like we will not push this. Market or route setters or climbers will say if it's good or not. I think time will show, and that's it.
There's another topic that I find very interesting to talk about with you, and that is you have just become a mother. Of course, that influenced your career, your job. There are some female route setters listening to this podcast, and I get the question sometimes that they say there are so few women out there who talk about their experiences with their work and pregnancy and becoming a mother and how to balance all of this. I know that as I had this experience too, becoming pregnant, becoming a mother, I know that every experience is different, but it's good to get some perspectives, and maybe you can share parts of your journey. So like when you became pregnant, how long did you go on working? How did you go on working? How did the work change for you?
Yeah, I must say I'm really lucky that I actually have free hands in about setting, and I don't have to do it to pay my bills. I do it because I want to do it, not because I need to survive. So in this case, it was quite easy for me. I just worked as much as I wanted to, and maybe I just joined the setting team, and I was like, just stay low on the ladder and put some holds, and then I asked, oh, can you put this top for me?
Yeah.
So it was kind of funny to boss people around, put this up there, higher, left, right, and so on. But I did not set comps when I was pregnant, just some stuff for our marketing videos and so on. So it was more like having fun with it and nothing serious. So yeah, for me in this case, I just work more in the office and did other things while I was pregnant, and I'm happy that I could do it this way. It was easy for me to take this decision because I didn't have this pressure of how will I manage this with my work, of course.
And after giving birth, coming back to the sport, that's also a big topic. Can you tell us a little bit how it worked for you?
At the beginning, I thought, oh my God, it's so hard. I will never be able to climb again. I thought I lost everything. But then it was really nice to feel this. It's like after injury, when you just feel this curve, how you improve very fast. It was actually really, really cool to do it. But I didn't put any pressure on myself. I just did it by feeling, let's say. If I feel good, I go climbing a little bit and so on. I wasn't not really, I didn't have any goals. Okay, by this month I need to do this grade. In 2 months I need to set this competition or something. I was just doing things by how I felt.
Was there anything very surprising to you about like recovering after giving birth, after pregnancy? Something that, I mean, you know, this process is like when you do it for the first time, you're just so surprised by what is happening with your body. So
I just remember that when I was maybe 8 months or 7, I don't know how many months pregnant, and I was still climbing because easy stuff, of course, but I felt good in it. But finally I understood why the beginner needs a foothold there.
Yeah.
So I was like, finally, I can set good, easy commercial boulders. Finally, I understand the beginner climbers. And I thought, oh, climbing is a really hard sport. But yeah, so what was the question again?
Yeah, what was surprising? Yeah, that's really a good example, what you said. What is surprising about the change of the body? Yeah.
Yeah, I have some of maybe the best climbing memories, just climbing some easy stuff with a belly on top rope. I just enjoyed it so much. It was, and feel the baby kicking in my belly while I was climbing. It was really, really cool. After I gave birth, I had a C-section, an emergency C-section. So the recovery was a bit different. It was really hard on beginning. I could not do anything. But then I got a really fast curve of improvement, and it was like a new beginning, and just discover again the love of climbing. Because sometimes when we feel strong and I want to send this, I want to do that, and after that I just love climbing, and I just climb, and I love the movement and moving on the wall. It makes me feel again like me. Yeah, because after you become a mother or a parent, you lose yourself a little bit. You just go, I need to take care of the baby, and you don't sleep and so on. So it's really easy to kind of lose yourself in this. And when I went climbing, I just felt like me again. So that was really nice for me.
I understand. I heard one routesetter saying that she can set boulders a lot from just her imagination. She does not need to test it because she has such a big experience that she knows, okay, I have to put this here, I have to put this there. Can somebody else test this for me? And then we adjust. Yeah, so that's also maybe a possibility.
Yeah, and it's good exercise also as a setter to not be able to test. Sometimes maybe you have it's not just pregnancy, maybe you have an injury, I don't know, and you can set and really try to imagine moves from the ladder, and it makes you a better setter for sure. Because sometimes we are like always like, let's just put something, we will try later and so on, and then the first draft doesn't really work, and so it's good to do this even
if you were able to climb.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Last question.
Okay.
What is next? What comes up next for you? So are there like any new competitions you will work at, or what's next at 360 holes? So anything that you're looking forward to?
At the moment, I don't really have a big plan, but this year I decided not to set for IFSC. They asked me, I think in November, and my little one was like just started kindergarten and was sick all the time, and I did not have any second to climb or do anything about my fitness. So I was like, no, it's too much, and I still feel it was on my physical limit before, and I feel like I would just end up injured as I am now, and maybe I don't feel like I can give enough to the team, and I just don't want to do it just to be there. That's just my feeling. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but luckily I have this luxury in life that I can decide what I feel it's good for me. What's the future? We just actually ended one period. We came out with new hall, with new shapes. We did some setting courses at our headquarters. So we kind of have a bit of a break now, and then more things will happen in the summer and later in the autumn when we have a few more other projects.
Then I wish you all the best for the future plans, and thank you for being here.
Thank you.
This was Routesetter and Hold creator Katja Vidmar. Thank you so much for the talk. Thank you all for listening. And I'd be happy if you also join for the next episode. So goodbye, Juliane mein Name und ich bin weg bouldern.